pray. Heaven alone can help me. But I think, Dorinda, there's no form of prayer in the liturgy against bad husbands.
Oh, but there is a form of law in the Doctor's Common, and I swear, Sister Sullen, rather than seeing you this continually discontented, I would advise that you apply to that, for besides the fact that I bear your vexatious broils, as sister to the husband and friend to the wife, your impression of matrimony leaves me with such an example that I'd be apt to condemn my person to a long vacation all its life. But supposing, sister, that you brought it to a case of separation, what could you urge against your husband? My brother is, fairness, the most constant man alive.
The most constant husband, I grant
He
you.
never sleeps from you.
No, he always sleeps with me.
He allows you maintenance suitable to your quality.
Maintenance? Do you take me, madam, for a hospital child? Then I must sit down and bless my benefactors for meat and drink and clothes. As I take it, madam, I brought your brother £10,000, out of which I might expect some pretty things called pleasures.
You share in all the pleasures the country can afford.
Country pleasures? Racks and torments. Just think, child, that my limbs were made for the clambering of ditches and keeping of style. Or that my parents, foreseeing my future happiness in country pleasures, fully instructed me in playing at whisk and smoking tobacco and chewing tobacco as well with my husband. Ugh. Or perhaps the brewing of diet drinks and selling of rosemary water with a good gentleman, my mother-in-law.
Oh, I'm sorry, madam, that there is not more we could do to divert you. I could wish that our entertainments were a little more polite, or your taste a little less refined. But, sister, how came it that the poets and philosophers that laboured so much in hunting after pleasure came to place it in the country life?
Because they wanted money, child, to figure out the pleasures of the town. Yonder I see my Corydon. Such a sweet swain it is, heaven knows. Come, Dorinda, don't be angry. He's your brother and my husband, and between both, is he not a sad brute?
I have nothing to say to your part of him. You'd be the best judge.
Oh, sister, sister, if you ever marry, beware of a sullen, silent sot. One that's always musing, but never thinks. There's some diversion in a talking blockhead. And since a woman must wear chains, I would have the pleasure of hearing them rattle a little. But now you shall see. Take this, by the way. He came home this morning at his usual hour of 4. Awakened me from a sweet dream of something else, by tumbling over the tea table, which he broke all to pieces. After his manner, he had rolled about the room like sick passengers in a storm. He comes flants into bed, dead as a salmon in a fishmonger's basket, his breath hot as a furnace, his feet cold as ice, and his hands and face as greasy as his flannel nightcap. Oh, matrimony! He tosses off the clothes with a barbarous swing over his shoulders, disorders the whole economy of my bed, leaves me half naked. My whole night's comfort is the tunable serenade of that wakeful nightingale, his nose. Oh, the pleasures of counting the melancholy clock by a snoring husband. Ah, but now you shall see how handsomely, being a well-bred man, he will beg my pardon.
My head aches consumedly.
Will you be pleased, my dear, to drink tea with us this morning? The air may help you.
No.
Coffee, brother!
Will you be pleased to dress and come to church with me? May help your head. Ooh.
Scrub!
Sir?
What day of the week is this?
Sunday, and please your worship.
Sunday. Bring me a dram, and do you hear? Set out the venison pasties, and get me a tankard of strong beer upon the hall table. I'm going to breakfast.
Oh, no, stay, brother. You shan't get off, sir. You were very naught last night. I must make your wife reparation. Come, brother. Won't you ask pardon?
For what?
For being very drunk last night.
Well, I can afford it, can't I?
I can't, sir.
And you may let us alone.
I tell you, sir, this is not to be borne.
I'm glad on it.
What is the reason, sir, that you used me thus inhumanly?
Scrub!
Sir?
Get things ready to shave my head.
Have a care of coming too close to his temples, Scrub, for you may find something that will turn the edge of your blade. Inveterate stupidity. Did ever you know such an obstinate spleen as his? Sister, I will never have good of the beast until I get him to town. London, dear London, is the place for managing and breaking a husband.
Sister, I fancy that you have the mind to be trying your power that way here in Lichfield. Have you not drawn the count to your colours already?
The French are people that cannot live without their gallantry.
And some English that I might know. Sister, you're not averse to such amusements.
Well, since the truth must out, and it may do as good now as hereafter, I think one way to rouse my lethargic, sottish husband is to give him a rival. Security begets negligence in all people, and men must be alarmed if they are to be awake to their duty. Women are like pictures, of no value in the hands of a fool, until they have men of sense bid high for the purchase.
This might do, sister, if my brother's passion could be convinced into a passion for you. But, sister, I fancy there is a natural aversion on his side. And, sister, I fancy you don't come much behind him if you dealt fairly.
Well, I own it. We are united contradictions, fire and water. But I could be contented, just like a great many other wives, to humour the censorious mob and give the world an appearance of living well with my husband. Could I get him to dissemble just a little kindness to keep me in countenance?
But how do you know that, that instead of rousing your husband by this artifice into a counterfeit kindness, that he should instead awaken a real fury?
Well, then let him. If I can't provoke him to one, I'd persuade him to the other.
But how must I behave myself between you?
You must assist me.
Well, against my own brother.
He is but half a brother, and I am your entire friend. I go one step beyond the bounds of honour. Leave me. Until then, you must go along with me in everything. Just as I trust my honour in your hands, you can trust your brothers in mine. The Countess to dine here today.
It is a strange thing, sister. I cannot like that man.
You like nothing. Your time is not come. Love and death have their fatalities, and strike home at one time or another, but you'll pay for all one day, I warrant you. But now come. My lady's tea is ready. 'Tis almost church time.
And was she the daughter of the house?
Well, the landlord is so blind to think so, but I dare swear she has better blood in her veins.
Why does think so?
Because the baggage has a pert je ne sais quoi. She reads plays, keeps a monkey, and is troubled with vapours.
By which discoveries I guess you know more of Cherry?
Not yet, Faith. The lady gives herself airs, forsooth. Nothing under a gentleman.
Let me take her in hand.
Say one more word of that and I'll declare myself. Spoil sport and everywhere else. Look ye, Aimwell. Every man in his own sphere.
All right, and therefore you must pimp for your master.
In the usual forms, good sir, after I have served myself. But to our business. You are so well dressed, Tom, and make such a handsome figure. I fancy you might do execution in a country church. The exterior part strikes first, then you're in the right to make that impression favourable.
There's something in that which may turn to advantage. The appearance of a stranger in a country church draws as many gazes as a blazing star. No sooner that he comes into the cathedral, but a chain of whispers runs buzzing round the congregation. In a moment, who is he? Whence come he? Do you know him? Then I, sir, tips me to the Virgin with half the crown. He pockets the simony and inducts me into the best pew in the church. I single out a beauty, rivet both my eyes to hers, set my nose a-bleeding by my strength of imagination, and show the whole church my concern by endeavouring to hide it. After the sermon, the whole town gives me to her for a lover, and by persuading the lady that I am a-dying for her, the tables are turned, and she, in good earnest, falls in love with me.
There's nothing in this, Tom, without a precedent. But instead of riveting your eyes to a beauty, try to fix them upon a fortune. That's our business at present.
Pshaw! No woman can be a beauty without a fortune. Let me alone, for I'm a marksman.
Tom? When were you at church before, pray?
I was there at the coronation.
Well then, how do you expect a blessing by going to church now?
Blessing? Nay, Frank, I ask but for a wife.
Truly, the man is not very unreasonable in his demands.
Well, daughter, as the saying is, have you brought Martin to confess?
Pray, Father, I'm a bit young and don't understand wheedling.
Young? Why, you jade! Can any woman wheedle that's not young? I tell you, his silence confesses it, and his master spends his money so freely, and he's such a gentleman in every manner of way, that he must be a highwayman. Oh! Oh, Mr. Gibbet, what's the news?
No matter, ask no questions. All fair and honourable. Here, my dear Cherry, 200 sterling pounds. As good as any that ever hanged or saved the rogue. Lay it by with the rest. There. 3 wedding or mourning rings. 'Tis much the same round here, you know. What else have we got here? 2 silver hilted swords. I took those from fellows who never show any part of their swords but the hilts. There. This diamond necklace, which the lady hid in the privateer's place on the coach, but I found it out. This gold watch, which I took from a pawnbroker's wife. It was left in her hands by a person of quality. There's the arms upon the case.
But who had you the money from?
Ah, poor woman. I pitied her. From a poor lady just eloped from her husband. She had told me of her husband's barbarous usage, and so I left her £5,000. But, my dear Cherry, I almost forgot. I have a present for you.
What is it?
A pot of ceruse, my dear child, that I took from the lady's underpocket.
What, Mr. Gibbet, do you think that I paint?
Why, you, Jane, you're better still. I'm sure the lady I took it from had a coronet upon her handkerchief. There. Take my cloak and go and secure the premises.
I will secure them.
But harkee, where's Hounslow and Bagshot?
They ain't come yet.
Ah, do you know of any other men of the pad upon this road?
No.
I fancy I have 2 that lodge in my house just now.
The devil, where'd you smoke them?
Why, the one has gone to church,
That's suspicious, I must confess.
and the other is in his master's chambers. I'll call him out and we'll pump him a little.
Aye, with all my heart.
Martin! Martin!
The roads are consumed deep. I'm as dirty as old Brentford at Christmas. He's a good, pretty fellow, that. Who's servant are you, friend?
My masters?
Really? The fellow's been at the bar by his evasion. But pray, sir, what is your master's name?
This is the most obstinate cur.
I ask you his name.
His name? I've never asked his name in my life.
What think you now?
Plain, plain. He talks now as if he were before a judge. Right. But does your master travel upwards or downwards?
Downwards, I fear, sir.
I'm afraid my fate will be a contrary way.
Oh, Mr. Martin, you're very arch. The gentleman here is only travelling towards Chester and would be glad of your company, that's all. Come, Captain. You'll be staying tonight, I suppose. I'll show you a chamber.
Farewell, friend.
Captain, your servant. The captain. A pretty fellow. Steth, I wonder if the officers of the army don't conspire to beetle scoundrels in red for their own.
Gone? And Martin here? I hope he did not listen. I would have the merit of discovery all of my own and oblige him to love me. Mr. Martin, who is that man with my father?
Some sergeant or whip-tail trooper, I suppose.
All safe, I find.
Come, my dear, have you conned over the catechise I taught you last night?
Come, question me.
What is love?
Love is I know not what, goes I know not how, and comes I know not when.
Very well. An apt scholar. And where does love enter?
Into the eye.
And where go out?
I won't tell you.
What are the objects of that passion?
Youth, beauty and clean linen.
And the reason?
The first two are fashionable by nature, and the third at court.
That's my dear. Now, what are the signs and tokens of that passion?
A stealing look, a stammering tongue, words improbable, designs impossible, and actions impracticable.
Very well. Now, what must a lover do to obtain his mistress?
He must adore the person that disdains him, bribe the chambermaid that betrays him, court the footman that laughs at him. He must...
Nay, child. I must whip you if you don't mind your lesson. You must treat his...
Oh, aye. He must treat his enemies with respect, his friends with indifference, and all the world be content. He must suffer much, but fear more. He must desire much, but hope little. In short, he must embrace his ruin and throw himself away.
Oh, very well. Had ever a man as hopeful a pupil as mine. Come, my dear. We shall now go make my master's bed.
Oh, hold, Mr. Martin. You have gone through a great deal of pains to instruct me. And what do you think I have learnt from it?
What?
Your discourse and habits are contradictions, and it would be nonsense to me to believe that you're a footman any longer.
Ooms! What a witch it is!
Depend upon this, sir. Nothing in this garb shall ever tempt me. For though I was born to servitude, I hate it. On your conditions, swear that you love me, and then...
And then we shall go make my master's bed?
Yes.
Very well. You must know then that I am born a gentleman. My education was liberal, and I came to London a younger brother. Fell into the hands of sharpers who stripped me of my money. My friends disowned me, and now my necessity brings me to what you see.
Then take my hand, swear to marry me before you sleep. And I will make you master of £2,000.
How?
£2,000 I have in my custody this very minute. So throw off your livery, and I shall go and find a parson.
Wait, what's it you? A parson?
Do you scruple?
Scruple? No, but £2,000 you say?
And better.
Oh, Steph, what shall I do? But hark ye, child. What make me a master of yourself and your money when you may have the same pleasure out of me but keep your money in your own hands?
Then you won't marry me.
Well, I would marry you, but...
Oh, sweet sir, I am your humble servant, your fairly court. Could you persuade me on what gentleman who has a scandal of wearing a livery would deny £2,000? Let the situation be what it would. No, sir. I hope you'll pardon my freedom, but it was only to inform myself of the respect I ought to show you.
Hold. Are you actually £2,000?
Sir, I have my secrets as well as you. When you please to be more open, I shall be more free. But be assured I have my discoveries that match yours. But, in the meantime, be satisfied that any discovery I make shall not hurt you. But, beware of my father.
So, we'd like to have as many adventures in our inn as Don Quixote had in his. Now, let me see. £2,000. If the wench would promise to die when the money was spent, egad, one would marry her. But the wife may live, and God knows how long. And an innkeeper's daughter. Hey, that's the devil. And there my pride brings me off.